be 2 more minutes
Yeah.
to get critical mass here, and then we can get started.
Brina and Emily, welcome. This is Phil Watson in Kansas City. Glad you joined us.
Thank you. Hi, Phil. Thank you.
You bet. I was thinking of Houston today because my nephew went through the hurricane there a couple years ago, and my son is over on the East Coast today. So.
Oh no! Well, hopefully he's in a safe place.
I told him to call his cousin in Houston to figure out how to handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be thinking about them.
Yeah, hopefully that thing stalls out. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, my son said something funny. He said, "Dad, I did go to the grocery store," and he said, "Why is it when people are imprisoned, they give them water and bread, and they should complain about it, but when they have a big hurricane coming, the first thing people do is they go to the store to get bread and water." So,
very true.
That is very true.
Welcome, everybody. We're going to start in about 1 minute for those of you who just jumped on. We're just giving people a chance to sign in here, and then we'll get underway.
And as we're waiting to get started, we're hoping that everyone can see the slides on their computer screens. We'll start off in a minute with a kickoff question about your favorite season of the year. So be thinking about what your favorite season is.
We really want to encourage everyone to jump in and participate today, but we're getting a little feedback. And so if you are on a speakerphone or there's noise in the background where you are, you may want to mute yourself for the time being. And if you're online, you can do that just by clicking on the icon of you in the participants list. And if not, you can use whatever device is on your phone or tablet or computer to mute yourself. All right.
That helped.
It did. Shall we get started?
I think we should.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone. This is Phil Watson in Kansas City. And we'll introduce her in a little bit, but I'm pleased to report that Heather Stevens at Alberta Children in Calgary is our new co-chair. Some of you may know that Jessica Breitbarth has left Seattle and has actually moved to the state of Illinois to raise money for the medical school there. And so I think she's very excited about that. So we're going to try a few things differently. Number one, Rana and Marcy from Woodmark are on the line, and they are kind of the founders of the feast today. They're going to make us look really, really good with all of the audio visual. So hopefully everybody can see that. If you cannot, be sure to speak up, and we'll make sure that we get you the proper instructions. But we do have an agenda today, and wanted to kind of go through that real quick, and we'll limit our time to no more than 1 hour today, so we will get you out of here by 2 o'clock Central Time, and whatever that is in your area. So we wanted to first of all kind of talk about some agenda review and group norms. We'll go through that here in just a second, and kind of what we expect for the meeting and hopefully give you the opportunity to make this as meaningful and helpful as possible. We'll do some introductions here in just a quick second. I know we want to showcase, do a little knowledge showcase today. One of the things we're going to kind of focus on is the Legacy Advancement Initiative reports that all or most of us have received from the consulting group, and we wanted to make sure that there's an opportunity to kind of address kind of what the next steps might be for some of us. And I know Heather and I are going to kind of offer up what our shops have been looking at and kind of what we hope this Legacy Initiative means to us. And so we've got some specific next steps that we wanted to share, and then just kind of open up for discussion. So we want to have plenty of group conversation, and again, kind of look forward to some of the items that we've got on our calendar in terms of conferences and Woodmark resources, talk a little bit about the new WE, and make sure that you've got all the resources that you need. I'm hopeful that this next year that we can really use the technology that's available and use the expertise that Rana and Marcy have made available to really interact a little bit more, and certainly with some of the questions that pop up in my office every day. I know they're probably popping up in yours as well. So hopefully we can kind of do that. So then we'll kind of do a little wrap up, and then kind of see where we take it from here. But anyway, I think what we want to do right now is just kind of review kind of some group norms, and quite frankly, I think this is a great reminder to all of us as we kind of go on to telephone calls. And you know, there's things that we all understand and embrace and so forth, but you know, obviously treating each other with the respect that we want. You know, what's said on the call stays on the call. We will be talking about the National Association of Charitable Gift Planners conference here a little bit, but that's actually in Las Vegas in the 1st of October. So again, what's on this call stays here, and what we learn at that conference stays there as well. So be genuine about your challenges, listen first to understand, be fully present, resist multitasking. Again, if we can have your attention kind of over the next 45 to 50 minutes, and again, encourage you to be as interactive and as participatory as you can, that would be awesome. Share the airtime. We want to hear from everybody. If everybody's got a comment or a question, we want to try to get everybody involved. We want to celebrate the successes. All of us in this business, especially in gift planning, we need pats on the back occasionally, because sometimes those new gifts are far and few between sometimes. So let's celebrate together as a group. Start each comment with your name and your hospital, so we know who's kind of speaking. And then again, mute yourself if there's kind of some background noise or you need to step away, and that type of thing. So any thoughts on that? I assume that's everybody's kind of in agreement on that. So what we want to do now is just make sure we know who's on the telephone. And so if we could kind of go around and have you introduce yourself, tell us your name, your hospital, and as Rana had mentioned, tell us what your favorite season is, and maybe in 5 seconds or less, tell us why. So anybody like to start?
Sure, I can start. It's Heather in Calgary. Hi, everyone. My favorite season has to be fall. It's really the only season here in Calgary that's an actual season. And I love it for the warm clothes, the warm drinks, and it brings on our favorite pastime, the hockey season. So I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I've also got my colleague Sheila here, so I'll let her jump in next.
Sure. It's Sheila Mercier from the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation in Calgary. Excuse me, and Heather and I did not plan this, but fall is also my favorite season. And to me, it's actually the start of the new year. While I'm an empty nester now, I still think of it as the start of a new year. I love the colors of the trees, and I love the cooler weather.
That's awesome. Who else?
All right, maybe we can
this is
go. Yep.
Baby Children, San Diego. Elise, I wanted to share too, is out on maternity leave and welcomed her baby boy into the world a few days ago.
Oh, that's
so
great.
They're both doing well. Yeah. And my favorite season is summer because I love the unstructured lifestyle that we take on with our 10 and 12-year-old.
That's great.
This is Sabrina Bauman Gonzalez at Texas Children's Hospital. And in Houston, I love fall because we get cooler weather, which around here is maybe 75 degrees.
There you go.
This is Emily Klein with Texas Children's Hospital. And my favorite season is also fall. Having 2 children, there's just a lot of fun things for them to do in the fall time.
Who else do we have?
All right, we've got Siobhan Dawkins. Are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Oh, okay. Yes. So Saban Dawkins with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And my favorite season is summer. And there's no reason. I just like the weather.
Just like it hot.
I really do.
All right. We've got someone from the 781 area code.
That's Holly Ferguson at Boston Children's. My favorite season is fall. I live in the Boston area, so the leaves change, the season's lovely, the cool weather comes, and it's just the prettiest time of year around here.
That's great.
How about someone from the 816 area code?
Hi, this is Stacy from Kansas City, and I'm going to jump on the fall bandwagon too, but mainly because our Chiefs start playing. So go Chiefs.
Bill Reich.
Hello, yep, this is Bill Reek from Children's Mercy Hospital. I'm going to go a little different. I'm a summer baby, so I love summer, but the good news is we live in Kansas City, so if you don't like the weather, the day, just wait a day and it'll change. So.
Great. And we've got D. Agawa.
Dee, are you there?
I don't know if that's the first name. It's Dogawa, and they're on mute. So how about Samar?
Anybody else want to jump in there?
And it looks like Suzanne Korf. We've got some folks from Montreal.
Okay. Anybody else want to identify yourself? Well, we will get started. Again, this is Phil Watson in Kansas City, and I'm going to break the mold. I really like fall, but I especially like winter. I was born in January, and when the snow flies, if I'm in shape, I can get out my skis and tool around a little bit. So I want to, again, thank everybody for being here. Again, it's great that we have so many admirers of fall. That means that everybody's going to be very, very happy as we kind of move into the next few months. So this is, as everybody knows, this is kind of the peak productivity time of year for especially gift planners. So again, we're excited that everybody's here. We want to talk a little bit about the name change for this particular cohort. And I might make a comment or two, and then if Rana or Marcy, you might want to share anything, welcome to. But we've actually, instead of calling this Plan Giving Cohort, you may have noticed that we're going to start calling this the Legacy Giving Cohort. And so again, I know there's a lot of departments that are using legacy in their titles, in their job descriptions, in their business titles, and some of their recognition societies. And so we want to try to create a name that's a little bit more consistent with more offices. In particular, here in Kansas City, we've changed the name from Plan Giving specifically to Gift Planning. But our Legacy Honor Roll and Legacy of Care recognition societies, kind of carry that through. I think most people understand what the word legacy is. So anyway, I don't know if Rana or Marcy have any other thoughts on why the name change and where we go from here.
I think you covered it well, Phil.
Yeah. I want to introduce also, again, we talked about a co-chair change, and Heather Stevens from Alberta Children's in Calgary is our new co-chair. And Heather, I might let you just kind of introduce yourself a little bit to folks that may not know you.
Absolutely. So I haven't met very many of you. So hello, my name is Heather Stevens, here up in Canada, in Calgary at the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. And I am so excited to come on as co-chair. This is a great opportunity, not only for me personally, but also for Alberta Children's to get even more involved with Woodmark and the now newly named Legacy Giving cohort. So I am really looking forward to being your co-chair.
That's great. And I think we want to, there you can see if you didn't know our faces before, now you do. We wanted to kind of highlight, actually let Heather kind of explain a little bit more about Alberta Children's and just kind of who they are and where they are. I know she's got some background information to share with you, but one of the things we want to do on these teleconference calls is maybe highlight a department or two. So Heather, I'll let you take that away.
Thanks, Phil. So a quick introduction to Calgary and the Alberta Children's Hospital. Hopefully a lot of you were actually up here back last May 2017 when we hosted Summit. So that was great to get a lot of people up here to Calgary and see Canada and the Great White North. So hopefully a lot of you were up here for that. Calgary is a very, very quick growing city. We've got 1.5 million people. We are mostly oil and gas based in here, so we have struggled fundraising for the past few years due to all that fun on the oil and gas side of things. But for us in Plan Giving, it's been a real opportunity for our foundation to focus a little bit more on future gifts. So we've really taken that and made it an opportunity for us. Now I think, I'm not sure, oh yeah, here we go. So this is our hospital. This is the Alberta Children's Hospital, and a lot of people here in Calgary refer to it as the Lego Hospital because it looks like a kid put it together with Lego, and it's exactly supposed to be like that. There was a ton of focus groups that were set up when they built the hospital over 12 years ago, and basically when kids would draw the hospital, this is what it looked like. Right down to, you can see the different colored windows there. That's how a child draws a window. They draw it like a square with, you know, an X in it to make the 4 panes. So it's really not intimidating to kids when they drive up to the hospital. So go to the next slide, please. So this hospital that we're currently in opened in 2006. I still often say our new hospital, even though it's been 12 years, so got to get past that. We just got a new stat a couple weeks ago that we now treat 102,000 kids every year at the hospital. That jumped up from 97,000 last year, so we've jumped up 5,000 kids a year, and our numbers just keep growing and growing and growing. When they built the new hospital in 2006, it was supposed to last the growth a lot longer, and we're finding that we're getting to capacity more and more. The hospital itself and the foundation, what we fundraise for are the certain pillars of excellence that the hospital really focuses on. The 4 of those are brain health, childhood cancer, life-saving care, and family-centered care. So our next slide, I'll just talk a little bit about the foundation. So it's made up of Sheila and myself. We've got 2 full-time Plan Giving staff. Sheila is our manager, and I am our senior associate. We're part of a larger team that includes major gift, annual giving, and a newly formed department, donor engagement. We've really been focusing on a culture of Plan Giving over the past few years here at the foundation. We just joined Woodmark in 2013. And when we did, we really learned the importance that Woodmark was putting on legacy giving, and that was a big drive for the foundation to focus more on Plan Giving itself. We want everyone in the foundation to think that everyone is a Plan Giving prospect, and we are here to help them realize that. Last year, in our fiscal 2017-18, we actually received our largest estate gift ever, which was a gift of $7 million. From a lovely woman who, her and her husband owned the local roller rink here in Calgary. And when she passed away, it closed down. And so we are a beneficiary of part of the sale of that. So it was pretty exciting that we'll be able to do some great things with that gift. Our average estate gift is about $120,000. We have our Family of Hope Society, which is our legacy giving society. We currently have 209 members of that, of people that have let us know, they've left a future gift in their will. We thank them every year by hosting our annual Family of Hope Tea in the spring, and we invite them, and then we also invite some plan giving prospects to learn a little bit more about plan giving as well. So that is just a really quick overview of the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation and what we do up here in Calgary.
What questions do people have about her organization?
None? Okay, that's easy enough.
I do have a question for you, Heather. In terms of your legacy organization and so forth, have you found pretty good participation? Are you excited about the level of engagement, or do you struggle a little bit in terms of trying to get people to participate in activities?
So basically for our society, people are just a member unless they opt out. So okay. No one's opted out yet. So all 209, that includes all of our confirmed expectancies. For our tea, we actually started the tea 12 years ago, and pretty much when the new hospital opened, and we didn't get barely any confirmed expectancies come, and that's why we started to include plan giving prospects. Over the years, that changed, and every year now we get more and more. I believe we had 15 or 16 of them come out this year, so that's increasing, which is great. We're getting more and more. We're getting more strategic in how we're stewarding those donors. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that have come out of the Legacy Advancement Initiative that we're working on. So we're continuing to grow how we engage those donors and hope that they will become more and more engaged with us.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, if there's no questions, I guess speaking of that, I will leap into the next topic, which is looking at the Legacy Advancement Initiative. We were one of the first hospitals, I understand, the first in Canada, of the Canadian hospitals to partake in it. We had Wayne Olson come up and visit us, and all Wayne could speak about for the longest time is he wanted to know where the polar bears were. So we had to
polar bears?
Yeah, so we had to educate him a little bit on, no, we're not truly the Great White North, but we had a great visit with him, had a lot of our staff participate, and received the report as everyone did. And it's one of those cases where nothing was completely earth-shattering that we got out of the report, but some things that were those, oh yes, we should focus on more, or of course we should do this kind of thing. So we have made up a list of the things that we want to focus on over the next couple of years. We had a parking lot for a couple of different things. So I'll just go over 5 of the things that we want to focus on and we've added to our operational plan for the next couple of years. They brought up the idea of an internal legacy case, which we had ironically heard about in a CAGP, which is the Canadian Association of Gift Planners. We had heard in a webinar we had taken about a month before Wayne's visit, and just the idea of coming up with what is our vision of legacy giving for our foundation and how do we want to grow it. And so we want to take a deeper look at that and see, sit down with people throughout our organization, not just our team, but figure out what legacy giving is to our organization and why it's important. The second thing we're going to focus on is prospect rating and management. We currently just use Razor's Edge and mark them with a constituency code of plan giving prospect, and they get invited to our tea. I get some special mailings. But what we decided to do was use the rating system that was provided in the report. I've actually been running the numbers, and it's amazing. I believe I found just in the first 2 rankings of depending on giving, over 4,000 new prospects for plan giving.
Wow. That's great.
So we're going to work on that, and then we're going to work with our prospect researcher to come up with the prospect management plan. It's great how we mark them in RE, but what do we do with them, and how often do we revisit those prospecting ratings, and really work with making that more of a formalized thing. The other one is board giving, which I'm sure a lot of us had come out of that report or are dealing with. Currently, we only have 5 out of our 23 board members that have notified us of a gift in their will. We've actually got a campaign coming up. So as part of the campaign, Board members are going to be asked to give to the campaign as well as consider a future gift. So we're working on better board engagement. I touched on quickly a marketing and stewardship plan. We had never considered doing a specific marketing and stewardship plan for planned giving, but once identified in the report, it made a lot of sense to us. It's a different group of donors, and how we engage with them in terms of, it's not just after they give or they're not given to specific things. So we're going to work with our communications and donor engagement teams to develop this. And the fifth one is something I'm sure a lot of people deal with as well and have concerns about, is professional advisors. We were always going back and forth. Do we have a council? Do we just have a few that we call on? And the report recommended it doesn't make sense for our shop with our size and scope to form a formal committee. So we're just going to be looking at getting a close-knit group of advisors that we'll consider our inner circle, and they can really become a resource for us when we need it in the plan giving department.
That's great, Heather. On the professional advisors, are you looking to kind of develop a call program with maybe information or a toolkit or anything like that to give to professional advisors?
We currently have a one-pager that we give to advisors, and we've got a specific section on our website. We've really revamped the one-pager. We did a very basic one and sent it out in 2014. So we're looking to revisit sending that out with the new improved version. And then, like I say, we've also added a page to our website that we can just email out to say, here's the link to our professional advisors page.
That's great. Well, let me tell you a little bit about kind of what we're doing in Kansas City, and then kind of be prepared, because what we want this to be is a group conversation about kind of your own takeaways from the report, kind of some of the things that maybe you hadn't thought about before that you're thinking about doing, any of those aha moments, any of those kinds of things that may have popped up for you. So in Kansas City, again, Wayne Olson was our consultant, and he came and probably met with no fewer than maybe 25, 30 people. We had him kind of loaded down for the day. He was exhausted by the end. And I invited him out to dinner, and he said, I'm going to go home and sleep. So, but we got our money's worth and asked a lot of questions. And I think our report was, as Heather described, you know, some of it was fairly general. But our team of gift planning folks, Bill Reek, Stacy Million, and Krista Hurd, sat down one day, and we kind of hashed through a number of our somebody there that wants to speak.
Wow.
Oh.
Maybe have a wrong number there, perhaps. Anyway, I'll continue. So anyway, after our group discussion, we came up with 10 top strategies that we are going to try to pursue over the next year or two, with one thing in mind: how do we move our stage reference or our stage category from 2 to 3, 3 being one of those departments that we all aspire to, that is sophisticated through and through in terms of the types of expertise, the type of resources, the type of engagement, all of those kinds of things. And so these top 10 things that are on these next slides will kind of indicate what we're kind of trying to focus on. So, and I'll kind of go through them real fast and then kind of highlight one or two that might be important. So you might turn that slide there to the top 10 strategies. Number one, we're going to try to reduce the number of administrative functions and post-gift commitment administrative functions out of gift planning and to other areas of the hospital, primarily finance and accounting. We're looking at accounting policy for non-documented planned gifts. That is, people that don't sign up on our planned gift intention letter, but are saying, gosh, I'm going to give you $3 million, but I don't want to sign a form. Well, what do you do with those? Those are equally important gifts to us as somebody that actually signed a piece of paper. So we're looking to try to gain a little better handle on monitoring, valuing, counting, and stewarding those types of gifts. We're also looking at prospect identification, looking at a number of stones that have maybe gone previously unturned. We're looking to enhance our charitable gift annuity program. We've had some success but I think it's really an opportunity, especially in light of economic gains, in light of options that people have in fixed income securities. This may be something for those people that say, I'd like to make a gift, but I'm concerned about my retirement income. Stronger engagement with professional advisors. We have a very strong professional program right now. I know Stacy's on the line, and Stacy's been asked to make this the best plan giving council in the entire country. And if it's the best in the country, it might as well be the best in the world. So we've got a little work to do. Everything changes, everything improves, and so we're looking to find out how we can engage these advisors, especially as we kind of move into the peak of our campaign and working with some of their high net worth folks. The next slide will have some additional strategies on that as well. And so again, the next 5 is expanding kind of the acceptance internally of complex gifts. We're not doing any crats and cruts. We're not doing a lot of life insurance. We're not doing a lot of real estate right now, but we're building our expertise and building the commitment level internally to be able to do that. And I think, again, that allows us to take those next steps to be a more comprehensive gift planning shop. We're also working through a brand new hire here at the hospital to help us develop a more comprehensive and integrated marketing and communications approach. So we're looking at electronic, we're looking at mail, we're looking at materials, a number of things to kind of take us to that next level. We're also building our gift planning stewardship portfolio, and we have one individual in our team that I think I've mentioned to folks that part of her function is to treat these donors like your long lost aunt. The last thing we want people to do is come in the front door and then we check them off and we record them and we put them as a part of our society and then we forget about them. So if your long lost aunt said, I'm going to give you $250,000, we wouldn't forget that. We'd build that relationship with her. So we're really looking at stewardship, kind of help drive our gift planning success, because I do think that the current donors are probably some of our best prospects. So we also want to enhance our technical expertise. We're doing some internal training and providing as much as we need for our gift planning staff to feel functional and an expert on a number of topics. And then also kind of looking at donor advised funds. We do not want to do donor advised funds, but we are kind of looking at those organizations in town, especially the community foundations that do administer these DAFs, and see how we might position ourselves to be a remainder beneficiary on some of these that might not have been previously identified. So probably of 2 to kind of pick out, I think the transferring administrative functions out of gift planning and focusing on gift planning stewardship are really going to be the things I think that are going to set us in motion and get us to a great place. So, and obviously building our acceptance of new complex gifts as well. So Heather's description and my description, I hope gives you the indication that we're kind of positive on this report. And again, it certainly wasn't perfect, but it had a lot of information in there that, again, gave our team here in Kansas City an opportunity to really kind of focus on what we're going to do about it. And we're not going to rely on a piece of paper to do our work. We're going to figure out what our next steps are and go from there. So I guess I wanted to, we wouldn't just kind of open that up kind of with that setting. I think the Woodmark objectives for this plan, or for this Legacy Advancement Initiative, was to significantly increase the number of donor legacy notifications to each hospital. Number 2, refine plan giving benchmarking definitions and reports to drive growth. 3, to identify and share knowledge and best practices among our teams. And then 4thly, grow the community of professional advisors. And so those are kind of the 4 shared objectives that hopefully each of these gift planning shops are looking to kind of share information and share advice. So this is your opportunity, I guess, to have a little bit of a conversation. If there's takeaways from your report, we'd love to hear about those things. Are there some things that we haven't thought of that you're doing in your shop that you'd like to share. So I might just open it up and see if anyone would like to jump in there and get us started for a few minutes. And don't everybody talk at once, because we need to be. Anybody have one idea that came out of that report that you want to share that was particularly important to your group? Let me ask one question. Has everybody read your report? Is there anybody on the line that has not read your report?
I've not seen the report. This is Julie in Radiant Children's.
You bet. There's Julie, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is Brina at Texas Children's, and I too had Wayne Olson, and it was delightful to spend the day with him. But he pointed out that our gift annuities program could be enhanced, and so I appreciated that suggestion. And we've been thinking about marketing materials and things we can do to enhance charitable gift annuities.
Yeah, tell us about your program as it sits today. Is there one thing that you need to do to improve it, or?
I think just looking at our database and finding those prospects that are right for a gift annuity and having personal contact with them, actually proactively making the suggestion, not waiting for them to respond to some marketing materials. So first market and second reach out.
Yeah, that's great.
So Phil, I have a question for you. This is Rana at Woodmark. I was curious.
You bet, Rana.
You mentioned that you're going to go back and kind of look through your list for more prospects, and you talked about turning over new stones. And I wondered if there is a way that you are sort of segmenting those lists, because I know they can be quite long. Are you looking at a particular group by a particular demographic, or is there an attribute that they have where you're digging a little deeper into, one group of people?
Yeah, we actually had a meeting here this week or late last week on with our data people, and what we are not going to be able to do is have one comprehensive list that meets all of our needs. And so what we're going to kind of look at is one umbrella list that's broken down into a number of small groups, and then working with our marketing people, kind of draft the messaging for those groups. So, for example, we want to pull out all of those folks that have been giving us gifts that are in that, 20 and 30 something category. And then we want to encourage them to go to their employer and add us as a beneficiary of their group term life insurance, as one targeted message. Again, if we've got people over the age of 70 and a half that have been consistent donors, we want to pull them out and send them a message about giving through their IRA. So I think we're going to try to be as targeted as possible, kind of moving this forward. And then as we, develop good prospects, adding those to the portfolios of our gift planning officers and major gift officers to go out there and ask the critical questions. So we have not had much luck in getting proactive responses from people receiving our newsletters or emails or website or those type of things. I know people are out there, they're just not they're not just communicating back to us. So we're really going to try to take a little targeted approach and try to do a lot of different things for a lot of different groups. We were talking to some folks this morning about retiring physicians here at the hospital. And if we can get that list of folks, then we can start looking at maybe, deferred gift annuities or something like that.
So it's interesting. It sounds like you're, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brina.
I was just going to, Phil brought up something that I do that has been very successful. So we are affiliated with Baylor College of Medicine, and we have lots of alumni from that group that really intersect well with Texas Children's Hospital. And so, and I came from Baylor 8 years ago. So I put on a senior physician lunch, and I don't care if you're retired or not. If you're over the age of 65, I invite you to my lunch. And so it's a lot of Baylor people who've known each other for 40 years. It's like homecoming. But I also just invite everyone who has an MD salutation in my database. And so I get people who just, they don't have to be pediatricians, they've just made a gift from us. And 40, 30 years ago, the Texas Medical Center was a lot different. There weren't pediatricians. If you were a radiologist, you saw people of all ages. So I don't distinguish between pediatrics and adult medicine. I just invite the whole group. And we get about 100 physicians. We invite their spouse, so maybe 60 of them come annually. And I've really been able to promote our Deferred Giving Society through that. And I get a little, I call it a testimony. I get someone to speak who's made a gift that year. And it's gaining momentum. And I've been very pleased with it.
That's wonderful. Great idea. Who else has a great idea?
Hi, Phil. This is Suzanne Rolfe from Cincinnati Children.
Yeah, Suzanne. Thank you.
And Joe Tumalo came out and met with our group right when I started, actually. And so one of the things we've done is sort of really looked closely at our marketing plan, and like you, have developed very segmented and targeted mailings for the next year. So currently we're working on an IRA rollover, oversized postcard, go out to any donors really over 70 and a half. And then we'll have our regular mailing that we do to the larger group about wills and beneficiary designation. And then in February, we're mailing, and it's going to be a smaller note card. It'll look more personalized even to anyone that we know has a donor advised fund, and you know, explaining that they can make us the end beneficiary, essentially the residual beneficiary for their donor advised fund. And I think that's the right time of year. I used to work at the Greater Cincinnati Foundation, and so many people set up their donor advised funds in the month of December. And so it's in January and February that they're meeting with the relationship manager there to talk through the plan and how it should be used. So I'm hoping that should get right at the right time for those kinds of things.
That's great. Are you able on your system to identify, you know, Joe Smo Donor Advised Fund, or do you, like our records, sometimes we'll have the Community Foundation as the source of the
It says the Community Foundation, but it also has the donor's name.
That's great.
So yes, we can delineate that. And it's not just the Community Foundation. There are also Fidelity and other, you know, the Jewish Federation and various other places that donor advised funds can be held. So
yeah. It's a great idea. Any ideas, more ideas, Heather or Sheila from Canada?
We touched base on the main ones. What really interested me about this whole process, and I think is very encouraging for everyone, and I don't know how in depth everyone's gone into their reports, but I really think everyone needs to just take them and run as best you can with them. What encourages me is we're a small shop here in Calgary. We've been doing PG for many years, but we've got a long ways to go, and we were able to pull things out. And Phil, I know you've got a very established legacy giving program there, and you were able to pull out a lot of nuggets for your shop. So I think it's great that everyone is being able to pull out something that they can work with and make the report the best they can for them.
You bet. Anybody have any aha moments with this, that maybe something in the reports that surprised or shocked, or you thought, oh yeah, we're forgetting about that? No, maybe that's too. Yeah, go ahead.
Heather in Calgary here. I think our aha moment was the prospect rating and just how many more prospects we have in our database. I mean, we do the typical, you know, someone sends in a check with shaky handwriting, or, you know, Sheila's notorious for having loud conversations on the phone here, thanking people, or, you know, then the loyal donors and the age and things like that. But to dive in more to people that have given 10 of the past 15 years, and that's really been an eye-opener for us about how many more prospects we've got, and how more proactive we can be in trying to either get people to notify us that have left a gift, or to spread the word about how easy gift finding is for our prospects.
That's great. Who else has some thoughts? Any thumbs up, thumbs down on the reports, or anything we can pass along to Marion at Woodmark as we get ready to start looking at the next phases of this reporting process.
So this is Suzanne again from Cincinnati, but I think that the breakdown about staffing and how understaffed many of the groups are has proven to be helpful, and I think will continue to be helpful to maybe grow the staff.
Does that kind of help you internally to kind of frame your argument a little bit, or for more staffing?
Well, sure. I mean, it provides the case of support, right, for what we need.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. If you do think of additional ideas or input, again, we're going to talk here in just a few minutes about the new We platform. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. And gosh, you get off the phone, you thought, well, I should have asked that question. Go ahead and put it on We, and we'll see if we can get some folks to respond. So anyway, I guess kind of moving forward on the agenda, because again, we want to be mindful of your time. The National Association of Charitable Gift Planners Conference is in October, and I know Rana is going to be there and go to the first day session. So we were just kind of curious. 3 of our folks here at Kansas City will be at that conference. Anybody else on the phone, or anyone that you know of that's going to be at the conference this year? So no one on the phone. Yeah.
This is Holly in Boston. Mary Lashman and I from Boston are going.
Okay, great.
This is Brina, and I'm not able to go, but I am going to the Crescendo Conference in Florida this weekend. Anyone going to that one?
Oh, good.
I'm going to that one. This is Suzanne. Who was that again?
It's Brina with Texas Children's.
Great. Well, I'm headed to that. We should figure out how to connect.
You're Suzanne in San Diego?
Cincinnati. In Cincinnati.
Okay.
Terrific. Yeah, please do connect. One of the things, and I'll let Rana kind of take it, but we thought about finding those other opportunities within the year to get folks together, and we thought maybe these conferences might be a good avenue if we had at least a handful of people going to each, maybe trying to coordinate some activities and so forth. So, Rana, any thoughts you might have on that, or?
No, but if you all could, you can just email us, or we're going to encourage you to get on We very soon, and then you can there will be a post about the conference opportunities, and you can share whether you'll be participating. And actually, in your profile in We, you can indicate which of these organizations you're a member of, and then we can message those people who are members directly to continue to find opportunities for us to meet and learn from each other outside of the typical Woodmark venues. So, so if you're going to the CGP conference, drop us a line, and Suzanne and Brina, we can help the two of you connect if you need that. So that you all can, you can also just chat to each other directly right now and exchange information so that you can connect in Florida next week.
Okay, great.
And for those of you still, considering the NACGP conference, not that this will be the deciding moment for you, but I'm actually speaking. And so if you can figure out the subject of my title, it's "Sorry, we really can't accept your mousetrap." And so we're candidly exploring the acceptance and counting of unique, complex, and special planned gifts. So, which again, kind of talks about how do we really develop our planned giving shops. We've simplified things for sure to kind of focus on beneficiary designations and securities and things like that, but has that pendulum swung a little too far, and now we need to get a little more sophisticated. So anyway, hopefully it'll be fun. Rana, you want to tell us about We and the new platform?
Absolutely. And then I'm going to turn it over to Marion, who's going to talk a little bit about the updates on the Legacy Advancement Initiative. So really quickly, I'll just let you all know that we are launching the new We platform this month. So in the next week or so, you'll be getting an invitation from us at Woodmark, from your senior associates, to get online and register, which is about a 2-minute process. We are really excited. We've had a lot of you that have acted as testers and beta users who have helped us develop something that really feels 21st century. And so we're hopeful that you'll be able to access your colleagues and the information you need very quickly. And I think the best news is that it integrates pretty seamlessly with Outlook. And so you can interact with a lot of it without ever going into the platform itself. So that's just a little teaser. You'll be hearing more very quickly. And in the meantime, I want to hand it over to Marion to talk a little bit about the Legacy Advancement Initiative and what's happening there next.
Thank you, Rana, and hi, everyone. I'm not sure who's on the phone, but I want to thank the people, if they're on the phone, that are part of this Legacy Advancement Steering Committee. Phil definitely is a member.
Yeah, you have Holly Ferguson on the line too.
Okay, Holly. Holly's not a formal member, but Lorene Cahalan at Boston is. But Holly's helped on some of the work we've done, so Holly, thanks. So everybody got a program assessment from Gift Planning Development. All 26 hospitals participated, which is wonderful. That functions as a baseline for the work. You might know that the ownership of that consulting firm, Gift Planning, changed hands about 2/3 of the way through our project. So the handoff didn't meet everyone's expectations. And so as a result of that, the committee got word from enough members that we needed to make a change in terms of the consultants that we would work with to move forward. So we've been working the past couple months to identify prospective partners that could take us into the second year of this. And we've narrowed it down to 3 possibilities. And we'll be meeting with those candidates on October 2nd in Boston. Members of the Legacy Advancement Steering Committee will. And the plan then is to spend at least an hour with each of the bidders, looking primarily at that point for fit, you know, alignment with cultural alignment, in a sense that this would be the good partner, because the work that follows, we're going to have to develop a work plan in partnership with the firm. So we're not going to ask them to come to that meeting with a work plan. We're going to ask them to come tell us about their qualifications, projects they've done that are similar to this, the outcomes they've had, and to provide some references. So coming out of that meeting on October 2nd, the Woodmark board meets that evening and the next day, and I think through consultation with board members, we may come out of the first week of October with a sense of who we might want to partner with for this next step. The goals of the initiative, just to remind you, the #1 goal is to help members significantly increase planned giving notifications. So no matter how we get into the work with this new partner, that is our foremost goal, is you've got to get more notifications for everybody. We've been working on making the metrics more meaningful. The committee has been scrubbing the definitions in our benchmarking survey to make those a little more relevant. So this next survey cycle of the benchmarking survey, which will start in October or November, that portion of the survey that is for planned giving metrics will have some tweaks to it. Probably no new questions, but refinements in existing questions. And then, of course, our third goal is to increase the exchange of best practices so that everybody's working on in a leading edge way to advance legacy giving in their community. So that's kind of the 50,000-foot level of what's happening with Legacy Initiative. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions for Marion? This is your chance. Thank you, Marion.
You're welcome.
The best practices and exchange of good ideas and information, I think, is really what we're hoping that this Legacy Initiative, Legacy Advancement Initiative creates for us. And so we want to use tools like teleconferencing, like the Woodmark Summit, some of those type of things to bring especially our gift planning professionals together and share great ideas. We are all in this together, literally, because, I feel very confidently if I can share an idea that helps someone in Texas or Atlanta or Calgary or wherever, and it leads to a gift, I want to feel very good about that approach. And so hopefully there's some ideas that you all can share with Kansas City to make us better as well. So anyway, our next meeting is going to be on December 12th, our next teleconference meeting, Wednesday, December 12th, same time. So again, 1 p.m. Central Time. We've also scheduled a March 20th at 1 p.m. Central Time for another teleconference. So we hope you'll join us, and we hope that as this WE platform is rolled out, that you'll participate and use that as much as possible to, again, share best practices, ask questions, and share ideas with each other so that we can raise more money to help go save some of these kids. So that is what it's all about. And anybody, Heather, we're glad that you're our co-chair. Any final thoughts you might have? Or?
No, this was a great first meeting, and just want to remind everyone to get on WE, and I think that's a great place for us to share info, ask questions. Maybe if some people have questions that are brought up, these could lead to the further discussions for our next couple meetings. So get on WE and keep in touch, and let Phil or I know if there's things you want to talk about in future meetings, and just keep the lines of communication open.
Rana and Marcy, any final thoughts?
No, I think we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for spending an hour today. And again, if you think of more thoughts, ideas, things that you'd like to express, especially about the Legacy Advancement Initiative, share those on WE or direct those to the folks at Woodmark. So y'all have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Everyone enjoy the first day of fall next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.